Hey friends, welcome back to my sewing room. My name is Becca, and in today's video, we're going to look at the contents inside the March 2023 Sew Sampler box, and you're going to want to stick around because there's going to be a demo for one of the items in the box that I have heard a few of you are a little confused by, and I think I figured out how to use it. The theme this month is Scenic Route. And on the back side of this card, there is a promo code for buy one, get one 50% off of all jelly rolls at fatcornershop.com. They have packed this box full of notions this month, and the first thing that we have is a Quilter Select self-erasing marker. Taking a look down here, this is essentially what you have. It is an air-soluble marker, and the pamphlet says that the markings from this pen will last between 1 and 7 days. Now, you might be asking, what is an air-soluble marker? Well, it's basically a marking tool that is specifically designed for fabric. And the idea here is that the air makes the markings go away. A good air-soluble marker will have markings that last a little bit of time, enough time for you to work with it, but not so long that it's going to stay on forever. This one says that it's going to last for 1 to 7 days. So it could be just a day, but it could be an entire week. I think it just depends on how much air is circulating in your room. When I am marking my fabric, I used to always use water soluble markers, but then when you starch or steam press your fabric, those markings do go away. And of course, if you use friction pens, just putting heat on your fabric makes the marking go away. The nice thing about the air soluble markers is that they don't disappear until enough air has gotten to the marking. So you can use these, still press your fabric, still steam your fabric, still starch your fabric, and the mark's going to stay and just eventually disappear. The next notion that we have retails for $6.24, and I had one of these. I loved it. I loved it so much that I gave it to my friend Mary, and I'm kind of happy to have another one. It's a little suction cup. You can see the suction cup on the back, and on this side there is a magnet that's in the shape of a kitty cat, and that magnet allows you to hold snips, scissors, needles, pins, whatever it is that you want to be adhered to that magnet. I like to use the suction cup to adhere this to the side of my machine, and that gives me a place to grab my snips. And since my scissors that I use, my snips that I use at my sewing machine are all metal, really it can grab any part of those snips. I absolutely love this notion, and I can't wait to put it to good use. So I'm just going to set that over there, and I'll put it on the side of my machine later. The next item that we have is a cut right bind up template that retails for $9.98. Let's open this up and see what it looks like. It's basically this green template with some markings on it, and inside there is some documentation that tells us what it does. It's a sheet of instructions, double-sided, and I will say, I have read through the instructions and I'm still a little confused as to how to use the template. I think the idea here is that you're going to use this to do two things. You're going to be able to join the ends of your binding strips together, but you're also going to be able to use it to do mitered corners. So I'm not really sure how to use it. I haven't figured it out. I'm more of a visual person. Fortunately, in the instructions, there is a link that you can use to go to a video that they have on their website that'll demonstrate the use of this notion. And I will link that video in the description box down below so that you can check this out and see if this is a notion you want to pick up for yourself. I am so behind on the Bliss block of the month. One day I will get caught up and that quilt top will be finished, maybe even quilted and bound, but it's probably going to be a while before I get there. But that's not going to stop Fat Quarter Shop from delivering the patterns that they have promised on schedule. This month we have the pattern for block number 12 of the Bliss Quilt Along, as well as the finishing pattern. Let's take a look at those. This is what block number 12 is going to look like when it's all put together, and this is the finishing setting for the Bliss quilt. Wow, there's lots of red going on there, and all I can see are all of these flying geese units. Man, that's going to take quite a bit to do all of this. And then I'm thinking about how many blocks I still have to do and how intricate some of those blocks are. And I'll be honest with you, if I wasn't intimidated before, I certainly am now. So this might not be finished for a while. By the way, I forgot to mention that those block of the months do come in our Sew Slamper boxes. They have a block of the month that starts every April and runs until March of the next year. So next month, we're going to start a whole new block of the month series that will be included in 12 months of your Sew Sampler boxes. But if you don't get the Sew Sampler box and you are just dying to do that block of the month, you can still sew along with a kit from their website, Stash, and just pick up the patterns for $4.98 a piece from their website. Speaking of patterns, we have our pattern this month, and this looks like a lot of fun. Definitely looks like a beginner-friendly project. This is what the pattern looks like. It is called Easy Street. It will measure 48.5 inches by 48.5 inches. And on the back side, you can see what your fabric requirements are going to be. And I do want to highlight that I love these patterns. They're a $9.98 value. You can't buy them, but the value is definitely there. I feel like the patterns that are in the Sew Sampler boxes are very easy to read, very easy to understand, and are definitely beginner friendly. If you are looking carefully at that pattern, you already know what our fabric line is this month, but that's not going to stop me from showing you the Junior Jelly Roll. We have a Junior Jelly Roll of the Simply Delightful line from Sherry and Chelsea. This Junior Jelly Roll contains a bunch of strips, probably around 18 or 20, I'm not really sure, that measure 2.5 inches wide, and they are all from the Simply Delightful line by Sherry and Chelsea. Now, I'm not going to take this apart and show you all of the strips together because honestly, once I take this apart, it will never go back together the way I want it to again. It'll just be a mess. So once you break into a jelly roll, you're kind of committed to using it or just having a mess in your room. But I still want you to see how beautiful the fabric is. So right now on the screen in front of you, you're seeing some beautiful images that show you what this entire line looks like. I love Sherry and Chelsea's fabrics. I love their designs, and I really like working with their color palette. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this fabric line. Their value for that Junior Jelly Roll was $21.98, but it didn't just include the fabric, it included a bonus item. This is a Fat Quarter Shop limited exclusive item, something. It is a quilt strap carrier. And I've seen a few people online mentioning about like how do you even use this? How does it work? And I figured it out. Let me show you. So your quilt strap carrier is going to come like this. You're going to have these two ends and they've kind of got this little knotted area. Those are going to be important in just a second. You're also going to need a quilt that is rolled up or folded that you want to carry. Now this is a table runner that I have just quilted and pulled off of the long arm. I need to put some binding on it, but I don't need the binding for the purposes of this demonstration. What you're going to do is grab the end of your quilt strap carrier and you're going to separate these two fabrics. And as you're pulling this through, you're going to hold this and pull. You're going to make a nice loop. You're going to do that on both ends, just like that. And then you're going to take these loops and slip them over the ends of the quilt that you want to carry around. And then you'll just tighten that down. And bada bing, bada boom, you have a quilt that you can carry over your shoulder and you've got your hands free. I don't know that I can think of many practical uses for this carrier, but what immediately comes to mind is if you have a picnic blanket or a quilt that you're using outdoors and you've got to carry some other things, but you also want to take the quilt with you. Sometimes carrying those quilts can be a little clumsy. I usually will just tuck them under my arm if I have to do that, but this is nice because now my hands are free and I'm still carrying my quilt. So that's actually a notion that I probably would not have spent money on, but because it was included in my Sew Sampler box as a bonus item, oh yeah, I'm going to use this. That's everything for the March 2023 Sew Sampler box. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this month's box, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye!